Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Lorette Gets Real. I'm your host, Lorette Jackson. I know you received 2 amazing uploads from me last night, but I feel like it's better to post too much than too little, so welcome back. I am doing a 3rd episode for the week, and this is going to be like a good introduction into what you can expect from my weekly rants or reactions on something that I saw, heard, read, or thought about. Before I get started, my disclaimer is that I do not claim to know any or all things about the government and politics, but I am actively trying to be more politically versed and more knowledgeable about the happenings in our world and in our country. So last night when I went on Facebook and I saw that somebody shared a CNN article, I decided to click the link. The article was called Michael Cohen's Opening Statement to Congress. So it's basically a 20-page testimony against Trump written by Michael Cohen's, him and his people to save his ass before, he's swallowed whole by the government or by whoever is supposed to bring him to justice. For those who don't know who Michael Cohen is a 52-year-old man who was born in Long Island, New York. He was a former attorney who turned to Trump's lawyer. So they were friends and business partners for over 10 years. He became the vice president of Trump's organization. He became a part of Trump's personal counsel, and he was Trump's media fixer, which is really just a nice way of saying that he's the person that lied to us for Trump. In the article, Cohen breaks down a lot of different things that we probably already expected or assumed to be true about Trump, but to hear them confirmed is like, wow. So I do want to highlight some of the main things I heard. He starts off by saying that Trump is a racist, a cheat, and a con man. He said that Trump did not expect to win the election, and the only reason he ran for president was to build his brand, to better himself, his business, and his reputation. He says that Trump knew of emails that were about to be released to tarnish Hillary's campaign, although he denied knowledge of the emails. In fact, it was put on speakerphone that they were about to be released, and he was excited about such. Basically, he was found caught in a number of different lies. So one was with the Moscow Tower project. I don't know too much about that, but I know it's pretty much some real estate negotiations that Trump had going on in Russia back in 2016. They told the public, Cohen and Trump told the public that they would stop interactions with Russia as of January 2016, and it's now found out that those interactions with Russia continued for months and months after January. And the main reason that those interactions weren't ceased was because Trump stood to receive $100 of millions of dollars on this project. So of course he wasn't gonna, just cancel this business interest out. Then we found out that he lied about the hush money. With that, for months and months and months, we've been finding out that Trump basically lied and told the world that he gave a personal check to Michael Cohen for $130,000 when it was later found out that that $130,000 was hush money that was going to be given to Stormy Daniels, who's a porn star, in stipends of like $35,000 for 11 months. So he lied about hush money. He lied about negotiations in Russia, and then he misallocated funds for his nonprofit and his campaign. So we found out that Trump set up some fake bidders to buy a $6,000 portrait of him, which really was Trump buying the portrait of himself for himself. And it was campaign money that should not have been used for personal want. What else did we find out? We found out something kind of humorous, but not that funny, is that he threatened his high school, his college, and the college board so that they wouldn't release his grades or his SAT score. Like, we all do bad on the SATs. Why did he feel that, pressed to threaten a whole educational institution? I don't know. But yeah, so he talks about black people. He's caught in multiple lies. He misallocated funds. And he's a liar, a racist, a cheat, and a con man. My first opinion regarding all of these happenings is that, Michael Cohen, we don't respect you. We don't find you any credible, and we don't have any remorse for you. You have this testimony and this tell-all after you fell out with Trump, but where were these moral standards before? You're so regretful and apologetic of your support for him when you are under fire. But you still supported him, you still lied to us, and you still defended him for years. So that doesn't make you any better than him. You are him. You are exactly what he is. So you can also consider yourself a racist, a cheat, a con man, and all of those other things. Two, we are constantly lied to and manipulated by senators, governors, mayors, the president, anybody. Every day, we're reading stories about somebody who is supposed to be held to higher standards, saying something crazy, doing something crazy, or something from their past resurfacing that is really in conflict with what the American values are, quote unquote, supposed to be. We all know that these people have money and that they all want power. So they'll do whatever it takes to manipulate us. They'll tell us whatever it takes to protect themselves and their interests and their family and their friends and whatever. If they have the money, if they have the means to do what they want, they will do it. And even if it's at the expense of the American people. And that's why I feel like they don't respect us. It has nothing to do with being the government or the institution hating just white people or just black people. It's just that they don't value or respect us. They think that we're dumb. So they lie to us because we don't do the hard enough work to find the lies or the truths in what they're releasing to us. We just take what they say and say, okay. They don't tell us the truth. One, I can understand why they wouldn't want certain things to be released because it might cause for public outcry. But in a lot of cases, there's things that we should know that we don't find out until months and years later, or things that we never find out because they don't want us to know. I feel like this is our country. This country was designed for our people, and it's not being taken care of in that sense. So that's really my first issue with the government. If we were back in like 1930s, 40s, or 50s, like America would be in a tizzy right now. Because before, everybody knew something about politics and everybody was actively fighting for justice and for democracy. Now, we read stories that are all sensationalistic. So we care about them and we think they're important one day, and the next day we're completely focused on something else. It seems like we don't care enough. But as much as I do blame us for not putting in the work to read these things and listen to the news and comment on certain things and have these discussions, we're also not taught to learn or to care or to think about those things. We're taught that it's far too complicated for us to understand, which is not true. If you listen, if you take your time and you constantly have conversations and read things, well-rounded things, you can't only read things from one side or the other side. You have to read things that are in the middle. You have to read both the left side articles and the right side articles and the middle articles. You have to read everything. But, damn it, I lost my train of thought, which happens far too often for me. But, yeah, like we're just not taught to think about those things. We're taught that it's either too complicated for us to understand, or we're taught that it's not important, like it'll get taken care of, it'll be done. And that's not true. This is our country. If we want change, if we want difference, be it whites, blacks, Hispanics, people who are gay, trans, whoever you are, if you want change, if you want a difference, you have to fight for that change and that difference. It's one thing to sit on Twitter and Facebook and say that we care and talk about Trump, but it's another thing to fight for these people to be brought to justice. These articles are being released so nonchalantly, like, oh, wow, yeah. Hey, guys. Hey, America. We lied to you before. Trump lied to you before. But it's okay. We're just going to keep updating you on the story as we get closer and closer to the truth. But once we get to the truth, what happens? Is Trump going to leave office? Is Trump going to be held accountable for the lies that he told to the American public? For the threats that he's given to American people? No. Probably not. It just really bothers me how corrupt the government is, how corrupt we've allowed the government to become. Like I said, I don't know any and all things about the government or politics, but I am trying to learn more, read more, because I feel like it's important. I feel like these are crazy things. To read these things, to hear these things stated, the American president, somebody who is supposed to look out, love, support, protect, and defend all people of races and genders and whatever, he actively goes against those principles, and we accept it and we allow it. So how do we gain our government back? How do we gain democracy back? How do we stop with the sensationalistic stories? And how do we stop with this corruption and allowing these lies? First is educating yourself. Second, it's calling people and writing people and talking to people about this. So me sharing this on my podcast, of course, I'm not expecting it to make a huge difference, but hearing about it allows you to now, maybe next week you'll hear something else and you'll know a little something about it. So you'll want to read about it and really think like, damn, that's crazy. I do want to stay on top of this because I feel like we're constantly manipulated and lied to. So I'm sure there will be more updates on this. I'm sure there will be more to say. I'm sure there will be more that needs to be learned. But yeah, that was just my quick little rant about how I feel about the government. We're at 10 minutes, so that's good. I told you I want to keep them between 2 and 10 minutes, but I do talk a lot. Trump, you're a liar. Michael Cohen, you're a liar. Thank you for telling us this. Of course, we find it interesting. Of course, we're interested to hear these things, but we already knew these things. And by sharing them doesn't make you any better. It doesn't make us appreciate you or respect you. You knew about it all along. You supported it for over 10 years. And when you saw the way he talked about other people and how he dealt with other people and you didn't appreciate it or you thought it was wrong then, you should have stood up then, but you didn't. Everybody loves to say that they were blindly loyal to Trump and they're sorry and they regret it. No, you don't. You only regret it because now you're under fire. He's about to save his ass and throw you to the wolves. And now you're trying to save yourself and come up with the last minute story apologizing and tell us that you were manipulated and you were lied to when you lied to us and you manipulated us. You are a part of the American people. Whether you are part of the American government or not, you entered the government for us and you are not helping us. You are not protecting us. You are not defending us. That is a problem. And I am seeking to bring knowledge to my people about what's going on. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this little rant. I hope you learned a little bit of something. I hope you know who Michael Cohen is. I hope you know a little bit about the Moscow Tower project and the hush money and the nonprofit allocation funds, all those things. I hope you know a little bit about all of that. I will be back on Saturday with a full-on discussion with 2, 3, or 4 people discussing, should you grow with your man? Should you wait for a man? Should you raise a man? Can you raise a man? Things like that. That's what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to feature a number of different age groups, a number of different races, and let's see people's perspectives on how they feel they should deal with their love lives and the people that they choose to love. But anyways, that is that. Thank you for listening. I have to go to class. I will be releasing this right now. I hope you listen. My podcast is at LERRET'Sreal.podbean.com. It is on SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/Lorette Jackson. And the email for the podcast is LERRET'GetsReal@gmail.com. I hope you comment, like, share, subscribe, follow, and tune in on Saturday. We only getting better. We only getting realer. And peace out.